Every year, the United States spends $1 trillion on its military. That budget maintains a force of 1.3 million active soldiers and an air force equipped with 13,000 aircraft. These funds produce what are often called the most advanced war toys on the planet, a suite of cyber weapons, drones, and stealth jets designed to project total global dominance. However, in the last 3 weeks, that technological edge has met a severe challenge. After a series of hardware losses and radar failures, the Trump administration has shifted from threats of total air dominance to proposing a 5-day pause in the conflict. Compare that to this tiny sliver on the chart. That represents Iran's defense budget. Despite crippling sanctions, Iran operates with less than 2% of the funding available to the American military. This massive financial disparity creates a paradox. We need to look at the specific mechanics of how a sanctioned, underfunded military is systematically dismantling trillion-dollar hardware. The F-35 fighter jet is a $100 million machine, costing over 1,000 crore rupees just to manufacture. It relies on stealth, a design intended to make it completely invisible to detection. That stealth has a specific limitation. The jet's angled geometry and specialized coating are designed to hide it from electromagnetic radar waves. The aircraft absorbs some waves and scatters others, making a massive jet appear as small as a bird on a conventional screen. Iran bypassed this by deploying electro-optical infrared sensors. These systems scan for heat instead of radio waves. No matter how stealthy the airframe is, the F-35's engine generates an intense thermal heat plume that these sensors can track with precision. Once tracked, Iran downed the F-35 using a modified R-270. This 1990s-era Russian missile is an infrared-guided projectile that can reach 5 times the speed of sound, leaving the pilot almost no time to react. This wasn't a one-off event. In 3 weeks, the U.S. lost roughly 12 MQ-9 Reaper drones to Iranian air defenses. That represents $200 million of advanced hardware destroyed by relatively low-tech interceptors. Investing billions in electromagnetic invisibility is ineffective if the adversary simply chooses to look at a different part of the light spectrum. American aircraft carriers are designed for intimidation. A single carrier strike group carries enough firepower to rival the entire air force of a small nation. To protect its ships from cheap Iranian ballistic missiles, the U.S. Navy was forced to move the USS Abraham Lincoln 1,000 kilometers away from the coast. At that distance, the carrier strike capabilities are severely limited. Then there is the USS Gerald R. Ford, the Navy's newest $13 billion nuclear-powered crown jewel. This carrier was sidelined not by missiles, but by a 30-hour laundry room fire and cratering crew morale after 10 months of continuous deployment. A multi-billion-dollar vessel loses strategic value if it is too vulnerable to get close, or if internal maintenance failures take it out of the fight. Regional U.S. bases rely on the THAAD and Patriot missile defense systems. These are among the world's most expensive interceptors, with a single THAAD battery costing upwards of $800 million. These systems require radar to see. Early in the conflict, Iranian strikes destroyed the AN/FPS-132, a $1.1 billion radar system. This single loss blinded the entire grid's 5,000-kilometer scanning range. Without that radar data, multi-million-dollar interceptor missiles cannot track targets. Incoming drones and missiles can fly right past these deactivated batteries without being detected. This loss left American bases and allies exposed to swarms of low-cost drones that the U.S. was no longer able to track or intercept. An expensive defense shield is only useful if the radar systems guiding it remain operational. Hardware is only as effective as the direction it receives. A sword's utility is tied directly to the person wielding it. President Donald Trump's handling of the war has been defined by conflicting messages. Within hours, he moved from declaring total air dominance to requesting international help for a war he claimed was already won. Lacking a clear exit strategy and running low on defensive capabilities, the U.S. has unilaterally proposed a 5-day ceasefire, a move that signals a loss of initiative in the region. This stands in contrast to Iran's military doctrine, which has remained disciplined and focused. They identified specific technological vulnerabilities in U.S. systems and utilized low-cost solutions to exploit them. High-tech weaponry cannot compensate for a lack of strategic coherence. In this conflict, a resourceful adversary proved that infinite wealth is secondary to a disciplined plan.